Hi, and welcome to another episode of Boozing with Boomers. I'm Dave with my latest COVID beard, and I've been on a quest to learn how to make a great balanced cocktail. So please hit the subscribe button so we can go on this journey together. In past episodes, I've talked a little bit about simple syrups and how they can change the flavor profile of your drink. And I've used jalapeno simple syrup in one, ginger simple syrup in another, and cinnamon simple syrup in a mocktail. So since I took a short break, I decided I want to do something a little different for today's episode. We're going to use rosemary simple syrup, but I'm going to make both a cocktail and a mocktail using similar ingredients. The great thing about this drink, or both of these drinks, is by using pomegranate juice, which has a very deep, rich flavor, but it also has a deep red color. And my wife thought it would be great because it's a red drink, that these would be Valentine's drinks. So please, enjoy these during Valentine's Day. The first one, the cocktail, my wife named the Pomegranate Gin Kiss, and we're going to use Tanqueray gin, but you can use your favorite gin in this, pomegranate juice, use Pom, and rosemary simple syrup that I'll put the recipe in the description. But basically, whether you have dried or fresh rosemary, I have a recipe for both. And then you put it in a mason jar, put it in the refrigerator. It should last for 2 to 3 weeks. So let's get started. Again, if you remember, we should start with the least expensive ingredients. I'm going to start with the pomegranate juice. I would say that the simple syrup is probably the least expensive. Rosemary simple syrup. So it was 2 ounces of pomegranate juice, ½ ounce of rosemary simple syrup. We're going to do a ½ teaspoon of lime juice. The little bit of citrus makes a big difference in this drink. And then 2 ounces of gin. Now, if you were paying attention, you noticed I am making drinks for 2 as usual. And here's a trick, and we're going to see how well I do. But I've got to worry about the fact that because this is so full, that by putting ice in this, it's probably as full as you should ever make a shaker glass to actually properly shake your drink and dilute it and chill it properly. So we will see how well we can do with this. And okay, so what I've got to be careful of, especially with pomegranate juice, is unfortunately I'm not going to be able to stack this with ice as much as I normally would. It is really critical to make sure that pops on properly. The good news is I'm going to shake this facing away from me so I don't get the camera all messed up. And we're going to shake to the COVID, or to the ABC song, like we do in COVID, because you want to shake for about 20 seconds to get the proper chilling and dilution. So I'll be right back. There we are. So what's nice about this, and you'll see as it comes out, try to get this closer to the camera. Deep, rich red color. Let's not forget the boomer. A little more for you. A little more for the boomer. The power of this drink too is it's got the fruitiness from the pomegranate, and then we're going to just decorate it with a nice little, whoops, raspberry. So let's see how I did today. What's great about this cocktail, if you've ever had pomegranate juice, it is very rich and almost overpowering. But the gin cuts this down. You will definitely taste the rosemary simple syrup. So the rosemary comes through, and that herb plays really well with the dark fruit. But then the botanicals of the gin come through as well. So to me, this is very balanced. We experimented a lot with my assistants or my family members. And I hope you enjoy this drink, the Pomegranate Gin Kiss. So when we were done in the laboratory, which in this case was our kitchen, we started talking through that we really like the way these flavors married together. So I'm going to move this cocktail over to here. This isn't going to go very far. So we'll put, again, this is my first time trying to do 2 drinks at once, so please bear with me. Another trick, and I learned this the hard way. So the mocktail is going to be a shaken drink as well. The mistake you will make when doing any shaken cocktails is using the glasses you just used, and it's not because of I'm worried about infecting the drink. But when the water is on the side of the glass, or especially in the tin, it will not seal as well. And the risk that you have with that is while shaking, they will come apart. It actually came apart to me one on an episode because it took me a couple tries to get it right. I sometimes do it at home because I get lazy. Make sure you start with dry glassware and dry tin to make sure you've got the proper thing, especially when you're shaking something like pomegranate juice, which is dark and rich and, well, will stain everything in your house. So the mocktail, because this is a more innocent version of the cocktail we just made, my wife named this one as well, and it is called the Pomegranate Platonic Kiss. So we're going to use, oh, and the other thing about this is when you're trying to take one of your favorite cocktails and you want to turn it into a mocktail, a lot of people make the mistake of thinking, well, I just take out the gin, or I take out the rum, or I take out the whiskey, and you've got the drink. Well, the fact is, you have to worry about the balance now of all those flavors. So for the mocktail, we actually upped the pomegranate juice. So we're going to use 3 ounces. And what you'll notice for the mocktail, I'm just going to make 1 drink because why would I make 2 of these when I've got the cocktail sitting right here? So 3 ounces of pomegranate juice, keep me honest. We're then going to do ½ an ounce of Rosemary Simple Syrup. So if you notice, we didn't change the simple syrup, and part of the reason is that's a pretty strong, the rosemary flavor is pretty strong, and when we tried to bring that up a little bit, it overpowered, because the goal here is we're trying to balance it. But what we did do is we ramped up the citrus. So we're now going to use ½ an ounce of the fresh lime juice, which balances really well with the pomegranate. And then the last thing we're going to do, and hopefully I won't pop this on myself, but we're going to top it with sparkling water, which will lighten it up a little bit. So, because again, pomegranate juice can be a little bit overpowering. So the addition of the extra citrus and then putting a little bit of sparkling, you only need to put about 1 ounce. But based on your glass, there's no reason to top it off. It doesn't really matter. Other than a flavor profile, you can use as much or little. We kind of experimented that just putting in 1 ounce of the sparkling water kind of balanced the flavor so it wasn't too cloying, but was nice and refreshing. So again, we want to meld these just like you do a cocktail. So I'm going to shake this for 20 seconds and I'll be right back. Okay. Good news is, didn't spill on myself. Now in this case, so I don't have to do too many dishes, it's okay to grab the other strainer that we just poured the other one out because it's pretty much the same ingredients except for the gin. I made a mistake here because I should have put ice in this first. When I get there. Actually, I might have a little left. Actually, it's about perfect for that glass. And then just use your favorite sparkling. What we have not tried is maybe topping it off with a little Prosecco or champagne. So if anyone wants to take this mocktail and turn it into a light cocktail, please do so and then let us know in the comment section. So I could measure this out. I just happen to know the way this glass works. It kind of fuzzes it up. You don't really have to stir it. And the reason The reason is what you're doing here is you're allowing the sparkling almost to be kind of like a light filter. So you're going to get the sparkling and the bubbles right away, where if you stir it, you lose that. But as you drink the drink, then you're not over diluting it. So as the ice melts, the sparkling that you've taken off the top, you're going to have a pretty balanced drink, sipping it down about halfway, depending how fast you drink it. But it's refreshing, it's interesting. I think you really enjoy Rosemary Simple Syrup. And when you get to Valentine's Day, I really hope you try one or both of these drinks, depending on what you want to do. It's a Sunday night this year, but it's a great way to celebrate your favorite person in your life. So the cocktail is Pomegranate Gin Kiss. The mocktail is Pomegranate Platonic Kiss. I really hope you enjoyed this episode. If you do, please hit the like button and subscribe so we can continue to go on this journey with Boozing with Boomers together. Thank you, and cheers.